You are scrubbing and scrubbing, and your arm is burning, your knuckles are sore, and that thick, crusty, embarrassing red rust on your exhaust tip is sitting there like it owns your entire driveway. You bought the wire brush, you bought the steel wool, you even tried that heavy-duty rust remover from the store, and now you are on your knees in the heat, breathing hard, sweating, frustrated, and that rust has not moved even a single millimeter. Not a scratch, not a fade, not a change. Just stubborn, ugly corrosion laughing at every second of effort you put into it. And right at that exact moment, your neighbor walks past, slows down, looks at your car, looks at your hands, looks at the mess you're fighting with, and you feel it instantly. That silent embarrassment, that pressure, that feeling that no matter how hard you try, it is not enough. And that is not random. That is the exact psychological moment the automotive industry has been studying for decades. Because they know when frustration peaks, logic disappears. That is the moment you stand up, wipe your hands, get in your car, and drive straight to the auto parts store. You walk through those bright aisles and everything is designed to pull your attention. Shiny bottles, aggressive labels, words like extreme, professional, industrial strength, maximum corrosion destroyer. You grab the bottle with the racing stripes, the one that looks like it came out of a racing pit lane, and without hesitation, you hand over $25 because in that moment, it feels like the only solution left. But here is what they never tell you. Inside that expensive bottle is something so simple, it will make you question everything you have ever bought. The active ingredient is chemically identical to a product sitting quietly in the cleaning aisle for $1. Not similar, not comparable, identical, same acid, same reaction, same outcome. The only difference is packaging, marketing, and the belief they built inside your mind that expensive means better. And what I am about to show you is something most people refuse to believe until they see it happen in real time. A cheap toilet bowl cleaning gel, something you walk past every single day without thinking, can dissolve thick red rust into a yellow liquid in under 60 seconds. No grinding, no sanding, no scraping, no destroying the metal surface, just chemistry doing what chemistry has always done for over a century, while industries built billion-dollar profits around hiding it in plain sight. Because once you understand this, you start realizing something uncomfortable. It was never complicated. It was never advanced. It was never pro-grade magic. It was just basic chemistry repackaged as innovation. Let us go back, way back, to 1818. A British chemist named Humphrey Davy observed something that changed industrial maintenance forever. He saw hydrochloric acid come into contact with iron oxide, what we call rust, and he watched something extraordinary happen. The rust did not get scrubbed away. It did not flake off. It did not resist. It simply dissolved at a molecular level. The hydrogen ions inside the acid attacked the iron oxide bonds and broke them apart completely. Years of corrosion disappeared in minutes. The metal underneath emerged clean and intact, like nothing had ever happened to it. This was not theory. This was documented industrial chemistry. And it was so effective that by World War II, military engineers were already using diluted hydrochloric acid to clean rust off tanks, ships, artillery, and mechanical parts, because when equipment failure means losing a war, you do not waste time scrubbing metal by hand. In fact, naval maintenance logs from that era show acid-based rust removal was standard procedure. Blacksmiths before that used it. Industrial workers used it. Mechanics used it. It was never secret. It was just knowledge. Practical, boring, everyday chemistry. But then something changed. After World War II, the automotive world exploded. Millions of vehicles on the road, millions of rust problems. And where there is a universal problem, there's always a business opportunity. Because rust does not stop. It keeps coming back. It guarantees repeat customers. And that is when corporations realized something powerful. If they could convince people that rust removal required a specialized branded product, they could turn basic chemistry into a permanent revenue stream. The problem was simple. You cannot patent hydrochloric acid. It is not proprietary. It is not invented. It is not owned. So they did something smarter. They did not change the chemistry. They changed the perception. They thickened the acid into a gel so it clung to surfaces. They added color so it looked industrial. They added fragrance so it did not smell like a cleaning chemical. They printed aggressive branding with flames, metal textures, and racing imagery. Then they gave it names that sounded powerful. Rust Destroyer, Metal Rescue, Pro-Grade Corrosion Eliminator. And they priced it at $25 to $40 a bottle. Not because it cost that much to make, but because they knew you would never question it. Meanwhile, in the cleaning aisle, toilet bowl cleaners were already using hydrochloric acid in gel form for a completely different reason. They needed to dissolve mineral deposits, stains, and iron buildup inside toilets. And chemically speaking, iron stains in toilets and rust on metal surfaces are almost identical compounds. Same reaction target, same chemical breakdown process. The only difference is application surface. And because toilet cleaner exists in a hyper-competitive market where every brand fights for the lowest price, those products stay around $1 to $2. No racing stripes, no marketing illusion, just raw functional chemistry. Now here's where everything becomes obvious once you see it. Rust is iron oxide. It forms when iron reacts with oxygen and moisture over time. It creates that flaky, reddish-brown layer that spreads across exhaust tips, bolts, and metal surfaces. The problem is not just surface level. Rust penetrates microscopic pores in the metal, so when you scrub it with a brush, you're only removing what you can see. The deeper corrosion remains inside the structure. That is why rust always comes back. That is why scrubbing feels like a losing battle. Because mechanically, you're fighting a chemical process with physical force. Hydrochloric acid changes that completely. Instead of attacking rust physically, it attacks it chemically. The hydrogen ions break the iron-oxygen bonds at the molecular level. The rust stops being solid. It stops being attached. It becomes soluble compounds that can be wiped or rinsed away, and the gel form makes it even more effective because liquid acid would run off curved surfaces like exhaust pipes before it could fully react. But gel sticks. It clings. It stays in place long enough for the reaction to complete. And that is why toilet bowl cleaner accidentally becomes one of the most effective rust removers you will ever use. Now picture the process. You go to a store, you pick up the gel, you come back, you put on gloves and safety glasses because even though the product is cheap, the chemistry is still strong. You clean off loose dirt so the acid touches the rust directly. You apply the gel generously, and within seconds, something changes. Tiny bubbles appear, the red rust starts shifting color, first dark orange, then yellow. It looks like the metal is melting, but it is not. It is dissolving at a chemical level. You wait 60 seconds, not rushing, not scrubbing, just watching chemistry happen, and then you wipe it. And the rust comes off as a yellow-brown liquid like it was never part of the metal at all. Then you rinse it with water, heavy water, because you are not just cleaning, you are neutralizing the reaction completely. And when it dries, you're left with clean metal that looks like it was professionally restored. No scratches, no damage, no expensive tools. Just a process that was always there but hidden behind branding and pricing strategies designed to make it look complex. Now step back and look at what just happened. You solved a problem people spend $25 to $40 to fix using something that costs $1. Same chemistry, same reaction, same result. The only difference was knowledge, and that is the part industries rely on the most. Because the less you understand about what is inside the bottle, the easier it is to control what you buy. And once you see this, you start noticing it everywhere. Not just rust, paint correction, scratch repair, headlight restoration, metal polishing. Entire categories built around repackaging simple chemistry into expensive solutions. Every aisle becomes a pattern. Every label becomes a strategy. Every pro-grade claim becomes a question instead of a guarantee. And that is the real shift. Not just saving money, but realizing how much of what you were told was necessary was never actually necessary at all. It was just information hidden inside packaging, designed to make simple things feel complicated. And once that illusion breaks, it does not come back.